to hurt me to have to get in and out of the car a lot, if I was delivering paperwork or a job or something. I got tired a lot. I was really tired. Those were just some of the symptoms. And, but at the time, they didn't think I had MS. They had told me, in fact, they said, no, you don't have MS. And they kept testing, to see what I had. And then later on, I started getting the scar tissue on my brain. And that's when they said that I had MS.
Okay. And so, I guess as time progressed, it just got worse, or?
Well, it was getting worse, but I was holding my own also. I was taking the shots that were supposed to help me so that it wouldn't progress as fast. And it just worked out. At the time, Millie's business was in a slump. And so I told Millie, I said, that I would apply for disability or something like that. I would quit,
Mm-hmm.
And so I did apply for disability, and they sent me to a doctor that checked me, and they had told me, the doctor had told me before, not that doctor, but my doctor had told me, when you apply for disability and that, don't be surprised if you're turned down. He says, because they usually do turn everybody down the first couple of times. You'll have to reapply.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't have to reapply. I was approved the first time out. And so I went on disability, and so I wasn't working for Millie anymore. I was at home.
That was probably what, about 2000-ish?
Yeah, right in there. I'm very bad on dates.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I guess we can, because you started watching Sarah around the same time, right?
Sarah, well, okay, Millie and I were both watching Sarah. Lori or John would bring her to the office and drop her off.
Okay.
And she would stay there, and then John would pick her up on his way home. And so, Sarah, she had about 3 or 4 mothers, because the girls at work were playing with her also.
Okay, I remember her being at the house, but that was probably after you retired, right?
Well, then when she started to walk, Millie couldn't have her at the office anymore. And that's when I started taking care of her at the house. And I took care of her, and then Lori got pregnant with Johnny. And after he was delivered, I took care of Johnny also. So I had both of them.
Yeah. So back to having little kids around the house.
Yeah. I always liked having little kids around the house.
Yeah. And was the MS? The MS still wasn't that bad at this point.
No, it didn't get really, for years. I hung in there. I had my days when it wasn't, good. But on the whole, I was pretty good. And then it slowly started getting worse. My legs, I couldn't walk that much because I'd get so tired. My legs hurt. And then I started using a cane. And I used a cane for a while. And then it progressed to a walker. And I was in a walker that had a seat on it, which was good. It's if I got tired, I could sit down. And, but it was just progressively getting worse. Shortly after your wedding is when it really started coming on full scale.
Yeah, that's when it's been tougher. All right, well, we're gonna backtrack a lot now. I like to jump timelines here.
Okay.
So we haven't really talked about your brother at all. So I guess let's talk about just in general, because we're, what happened to him after high school, or because I know you said he was, he had a hard childhood.
Right, he did. He was getting in trouble a lot, and I know he didn't graduate from high school. I don't know if he took a GED or whatever, when he was in juvenile authorities. That's a nice way of putting it. Jail. I don't know if he took it then or not. I can't remember. But he, and he was, later on, he got involved in drugs and stuff like that. His best friend died of an overdose. His name was Patrick, and that's what Tommy named his little boy, Patrick. But I don't know, Tommy was, he was just sort of, he was just sort of a layback, he never exerted himself in anything. My dad would push him to do something, and of course Tommy was, scared of my dad, so he would try to do it, and but it just never worked out. And he got married to Kathy. They had Patrick. Kathy, out of all of his wives, Kathy is the one that we decided to keep her. And he had 2 other wives, I think. And I didn't know them. I can't say they were good women or whatever, because I didn't know them.
Was this before or after Kathy?
After Kathy.
So they divorced?
Yes, Kathy and him divorced. And then he had these other 2 women, and he didn't have any kids by them. And then on the last wife, and I don't remember her name, they moved to Indiana or someplace like that. And that's when we were notified that he was really sick. He had been in and out of rehab a couple of times, because Millie and I had put him in rehab.
That was for alcohol, or?
Yeah, alcohol and drugs. And
what kind of drugs was he addicted to?
I don't know.
He just had a drug problem.
And but then he moved to Indiana, and he got sick again. Anyway, after he died, they said he had Wilkinson's disease or something like that. It has to do with the amount of copper that's in your body, or something to that effect. And anyway, the last time I saw him, he was 2.5 years younger than me, and he looked to be about 20 years older than me. He had lost some of his teeth, and he just looked like he had a really rough life, you know. But that was probably the last time I saw him.
Oh, was he already diagnosed by then?
Pardon me?
Was he already diagnosed as being sick by then, or
No.
No, not yet.
No.
So you saw him then. And...
He wasn't diagnosed till after he left California.
Oh, okay. So you didn't see him after he left.
Right.
And then so then he was diagnosed, and then I guess how much longer did he pass away?
He lived in Indiana probably for maybe another year before they called and told us that he had passed away. I mean, we didn't even have time to get there, you know, nothing. And they were supposed to send his ashes to California, and when I had said that he didn't have any other kids, I was wrong. He had another boy, and his name was Ryan, because Ryan was supposed to bring the ashes. And I didn't know Ryan, because I'd never been around him.
But his kids were out here? I mean, Patrick was out here?
Patrick was out here with Kathy, and Ryan was back in Indiana and I don't know who his mother was.
And so you guys didn't really have a funeral for him or anything like that?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Did it affect you guys? I mean, I know you guys had already kind of been out of his life.
we hadn't really been around him. So, but, I mean, it affected us in the sense that he was our kid brother.
Yeah.
But
Your dad was still alive, right?
Dad was still here.
And were they already didn't have a relationship anymore, or were they?
Tommy didn't have a relationship with any of us. He was in Indiana, and he didn't call or write or nothing. In fact, we didn't even know where he was until they called.
Oh, you didn't know he was in Indiana?
No, we didn't know he was in Indiana.
And then, so that happened, and I think I remember reading something about that. I think it was like in '88, right?
Huh?
So,
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I remember looking it up before Aunt Millie did a timeline or something.
Okay.
I think it was in '88 as well, which is also when I was born, when Dad had his accident. I think it was all like the same time, basically.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. All right, and then, what about when your dad had passed? He was getting pretty old, right?
Yes. Don't ask me how old he was. I mean, I know he was in his 70s, but I don't know how old he was. And he had, him and Ruth, they were living in Hellendale then, out at the desert, you know, the ranch. And he had, you know, numerous, you know, little medical problems, nothing to get excited about. I mean, he was like a borderline diabetic. He didn't have to take a shot, he took a pill. And, but that, you know, on the whole, that was about all that his medical problems were. And then he had a heart attack. I'm not sure if it was a heart attack or a stroke, but he was in the hospital. And got pneumonia and everything. So I guess he was, you know, he lived, after he got in the hospital, he lived probably, and I'm going to exaggerate, maybe a week after that.
All right. Let's see. We're almost done. We might well just finish this. Are you getting tired?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you know, moving along, and then so Alright. How did you guys tell me about leaving California? Story of leaving California and going to Arkansas.
Okay, well, first of all, Lori and John lived in Fullerton. They had bought Lisa's old house. And John was from Arkansas and Oklahoma, both, right in there. And he had always wanted to go back. Anyway, they finally decided to go back. They came out here and they bought a house. When it got time to move in, all their furniture and everything was still in California. When they got time to move in, they had come back to California, packed up in a moving truck and everything. And like John drove the truck and Millie and Wayne were in the car, whatever, it was a caravan. And so Millie and them were out here helping Lori move into her house. And Millie just loved it. It was all nice and green and all that stuff. Not like it is right now. And I'm not sure if they did it that time or if they did it on this next visit to Arkansas. But they decided that they wanted to move here. And so they started looking for a house, and they found the Miller house and bought it. Then they came back to California because they were living in Riverside at that point, and packed up everything in Riverside. And when they came back to Arkansas to move in, I came with them to help her move in. I wasn't working at the time, and I still had MS, but it wasn't that bad. So I was going to help. Anyway, we got here and everything, and we got her moved in and stuff, and I loved it here. But I knew that Tommy would never leave California. He had said so many times. So I didn't, get excited about it or anything like that. So we came back to I came back to California, and Tommy and I had told him, I says, I want to go on vacation, and I want you to go back to Arkansas. And he said, well, the only way I'll go is if I can take my motorcycle. So I says, fine. I says, take your motorcycle. I says, we're going to go to Arkansas on vacation. And so he went out and he bought a trailer and put his motorcycle in it. And we came to Arkansas. And he would ride up into the hills and stuff like that. And he really liked it. But I still, I wasn't even thinking of moving here at that point because I knew he wasn't going to do it. So our vacation was over with, and we're going back to California, and we hit the border of California. And he looked at me, and he had been thinking this a lot, because Tommy doesn't do things on the spur of the moment. He thinks about it. So when he finally decided what he was going to do, he looked at me and he says, let's sell the house and move to Arkansas. And I says, you're kidding. And he says, no. And I says, I love Arkansas. I says, but you always said that you would never leave California. He at that point, he says, well, California is not like it used to be, Let's just get out. And that's how we moved to Arkansas.
Let's see. But you guys came back. You came here before you even had a house, right?
Well, when we finally sold our house in California, I got on a plane. Now Tommy is still working. He's got another year to work. And because he's already told them that even after he retires, he would stay there a year and train. So I got on a plane and came to Arkansas and stayed with Millie and Wayne. And Tommy's in California and he's going to work. He had rented a condo and he was staying in a condo. I had been talking to John, and he got in touch with a real estate person, and she called me and everything, and I told her, you know, what we would like in a house and stuff, so that she could get some listings ready when I got here, and we could look for a house, which she did, and we Millie and Wayne and John, I had the whole crew with me. And we looked for houses and probably looked at, and Deanna was with me also. And we looked for houses, but there was always something, you know. I didn't like the staircases that went just straight down. I wanted a break in there. Some of the houses, they were so far back in the woods, I'd never find the house. It was that winding, and the roads were really bad, you know, to get to it, so I knew if it snowed, there was no way we were gonna get in or out. Anyway, I finally came to this house and looked at it, and it had everything that Tommy had put on his requirements. He wanted a workshop. He didn't want yard work, which is the only thing that there was, you know, here that was not on his list. But anyway, it was, you know, it was everything, you know, that we wanted and everything. Well, I told Tommy, you know, that, you know, found a house and all that stuff, and so I started bidding on it. And then when he came here to sign the papers, he didn't like the house. There was nothing he liked about it. And I says, well, that's just tough shit. Because if you could have come here and looked for a house yourself, you know, I told you I didn't want to do this on my own. And I says, decide what you're gonna do, because, you know, I'm not gonna fool around. So anyway, he decided, you know, he'd sign the papers and all that stuff. And now he likes the house. It's not necessarily the house per se, he likes the location and that. And the house is, he's making it into his house, you know. He likes it better than he did the first day that he saw it. I was ready to choke him at that time. But that's how we came to get this house. And I don't even remember the question you asked me.
You got the. You want to take a drink? Go take a drink.
Yeah.
Are you getting tired?
Mm-hmm.
You need a break?
No, let's just finish.
I'm kind of finished. We're finished. We can be finished because I'm gonna think of some questions to ask you, some random questions, just random stuff, because kind of already went through the timeline for the most part.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you this like tomorrow.
All right.
So good morning. How are you doing today?
Fine.
All right, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you just a bunch of questions. You don't have to put too much thought into them, but.
Okay. Oh, I see you have your San Francisco hat on.
I do. Just gotta still represent
Okay.
the right team. Okay. favorite color. Oh, and when I ask you,
Mm-hmm.
try to say my favorite color is,
Okay.
etc.
Can I have more than one?
Yeah, sure.
Favorite color is brown and orange.
Interesting. Favorite ice cream flavor.
Raspberry.
Interesting. My favorite ice cream flavor is raspberry.
My favorite ice cream is raspberry. Sorry about that.
Like raspberry sherbet.
It can be sherbet or it can just be regular.
Interesting. All right. Favorite animal that's not a dog.
Favorite animal that is not a dog. I guess it would be a horse.
A horse. Have you ever ridden a horse?
Sure.
Oh, that's good. Favorite movie monster. Godzilla, Jaws, King Kong.
King
etc.
Kong.
You like King Kong?
My favorite monster is King Kong.
All right. Favorite president.
Favorite president. Can I have more than one?
Sure.
Okay, Harry Truman. My favorite president is Harry Truman and Ronald Reagan.
Favorite actor.
Yeah. The film is broke.
It's broke.
So that means the other one's out too.
My favorite actor.
So most of the time he stays.
Okay. I like Sean Connery, and I like Mark Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. And I like some of the old time actors, but I won't even go into that.
Give me your best Sean Connery impression.
I beg your pardon?
I said, give me your best Sean Connery impression.
My name is James Bond.
Sounds just like him. All right. Well, favorite actress.
Oh, goodness.
What do you think?
Favorite actress.
I'm surprised Mandy hasn't texted me this morning.
I like, my favorite actress is, old time was Jane Powell. I liked her. New time is, gosh, there's a couple, I mean, I like Elizabeth Taylor. I like Julia Roberts. I don't have a number one favorite, but I have some that I like better than the others.
Did you watch Liz and Dick?
Yes.
Did you like it?
No.
I heard it wasn't very good.
No. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't
Didn't do her justice.
show them the way they really were.
Okay. This is gonna probably be a tough one.
Mm.
Your favorite all-time movie?
Oh my goodness.
Now give me your top three. No order, specific.
Favorite all-time movies. Once Upon a Time in America.
Thank you. Watching Brandon interview his grandma.
Magnificent Seven. And another one. Meet You in St. Louis. What is
Meet me in
that?
St. Louis.
Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yeah,
Yes.
she watches it. Take every damn time.
Yes.
So, meet me in St. Louis. So you like the Seven Samurai?
Seven Samurai?
Uh huh.
No.
No, you don't like that one.
I like this Magnificent
You like that
Seven.
one?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's based off of? I haven't seen.
Yes, it is based off of
I haven't
that.
seen Magnificent Seven, but I've seen Seven Samurai.
Yes, it is based off of
Yeah,
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
But it's got Yul Brynner in it. He was a very good actor.
All right.
And Steve McQueen.
And Steve McQueen. I think they're remaking it again right now. but it's gonna be different. It's I think it's gonna be a spoof.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's with Adam Sandler. It's gonna be called
Oh, God.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
a con.
yeah. It's they're making fun of it. I think it was with Adam Sandler. I heard.
It'll be a comedy.
Is it
then
Adam
type
Sandler?
thing.
Maybe no. I don't think it was Adam Sandler. It was somebody else, some other comedian, but someone that didn't seem very funny. So I didn't think it was gonna be that good.
Yeah.
All right.
So yesterday and then
Favorite type of nut.
and like I went outside
Favorite
for
type of
like,
nut.
the porch and everything. But
Boy, that's relevant.
Okay, I've got
Good.
two. Cashew
anymore.
and walnut.
Just in a lot of
Cashew, walnut.
I'll be back in a little bit.
All right. Have fun. All right. Type of candy.
C's candy.
See's candy. Which particular one?
Soft chocolate for the inside, you know.
Okay.
I don't like hard candy. It has to be soft.
Vegas, we
Unless it's a hard candy like
get here at 9 and then we get there at 10.
what is it? Butter.
The butterscotch.
Yeah, something like that. That's hard that I can, you know, suck on.
All right.
So yeah, we should get there fast. Yeah, when we flew in, like our flight was
All right. You know, in death row, you know, prison death row inmates,
Right,
they get a last meal.
right.
Well, what's your last meal? Anything you can eat anything because
I
you
can
don't have
eat
any.
anything at once.
You don't have any diet problems or.
Okay, I would like lobster and salad, garlic toast, and what vegetable? I can't think of a vegetable that I would, something green. I guess I'd have broccoli,
What are you gonna drink it down with?
and I'll either drink it down with either milk, coffee, or Coke. One of the
You
above.
can go all three. This is your last meal.
Right.
All right. What was your first pet?
My first pet was a cat.
You remember the name?
No. It was, we were living in Willowbrook at the time, and my sister and I both got little kitten. I don't know if it came from a cat in the neighborhood or what. And it, to look back on it, it really surprises me because my mother, she had asthma very bad, so she didn't really like cats around. But anyway, we had the kittens. It was an orange cat, and I believe it was a black and white cat.
Nice. And what about the first car you drove?
The first car I
Or that was yours, I guess.
well, the one that
The
was
one-
mine.
The first one that you were driving, like, you know, on a regular basis, I suppose. Whether you owned it or not.
Well, the first car I drove, I didn't have a license, and it was like I think maybe a 58, 56, right in there, Buick. It was like a tank, and I would sneak it out and drive it once in a while when my mom and dad were at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm probably gonna have to get off at 8 on Mondays, not Thursdays.
Time out. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm loud.
Oh, you're closing the door on her?
Yeah. I don't want it to come out on the.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, wait. So, alright. We got that. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, let's see. I've seen them both. I guess Star Wars, because it had more, what do you call it, visual, cameras, where they would do things more so than Star Trek, because Star Trek was, well, it came out in the movies, but it originated on TV.
Yeah. What's the last movie you remember seeing in a movie theater?
Oh. I know that Tommy and I went to the show, and, but I'm trying to remember what it was that I saw. I can't remember it.
I didn't think you would. I was just
No,
trying to throw that out there.
It wasn't that long ago. Maybe 6 months ago,
Oh, that's not bad.
or a year, right in there. Yeah, but I just can't remember what it was.
All right, that's not a lot long ago. I thought it would have been longer.
No?
You actually get out every once
Yes,
in a while.
Papa, that was before I was in the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And Papa took me to the show.
Okay. What do you remember the last time you read a book? And what that might have been?
Oh, I used to read a lot, and I would read romantic action books, paperbacks. And I used to read, a couple of them a week. But then once I started going downhill with my illnesses, I couldn't read anymore because I would start to read and it would put me to sleep immediately. And so I don't read that much anymore because I can't stay awake.
Understandable. If you had a time machine, what would you do?
If I had a time machine, what would I do? Well, I would definitely go someplace and, well, I have two answers. I've always liked the time frame of the 30s. And then I would also like to go into the future where they've cured all these illnesses, and I can go back to my current time frame and give them all this information so that they can cure people.
There you go. That's noble.
No, I want to be cured too.
What's the most romantic thing that's ever been done for you?
Oh,
I have to think about this.
yeah. I was going to say, because your grandfather's not that romantic. Okay, when we were first married, we used to have a song. It was called More. And I guess it was on our anniversary or something. I can't remember what the occasion was. But he had the band leader play that song so that we could dance to it.
What was the name of who sang the song?
Pardon me?
Who sang the song?
I have no idea. They're playing it all the time on the radio now.
And it's called More. How does it go?
Oh no. Oh no, you're not gonna get me to sing.
I thought I could lead you into that.
No.
Okay. What kind of people do you dislike?
Phony. and, well, phony people and people that aren't honest with you.
All right. Tupac or Biggie Smalls?
I beg your pardon?
Tupac?
Tupac. He
Or-
was a singer, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He got shot.
he got shot.
Okay.
Or Biggie Smalls.
I don't know who him is.
He got shot too.
Okay. And I don't know Tupac. I don't know what, he did. So I can't even answer those.
All right. Do you think OJ is guilty of murder?
Most definitely.
I made that one up. But if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Oh. Read people's minds.
You'd read people's minds. I always get paranoid with that. People can read my mind. Yeah, like what?
I wouldn't tell anybody.
What women want. I always get paranoid that people can do that to me. Yeah, but they don't tell me. Okay. Who's your favorite Kardashian?
Who's my favorite Kardashian? I think they're all pretty ridiculous.
That was the answer I was hoping for.
I would say the father, Bruce Jenner.
Okay, there we go. Bruce is a good name, right?
I guess so.
If I had a son named Bruce, would you think that was pretty cool?
If you had a son, whatever you name your son, it will be cool.
Okay. So I was thinking Bruce Wayne would be his name.
Bruce Wayne.
Not to name him after Uncle Wayne or anything, but to name him after Batman.
Oh, here we go with Batman. Why not Spider-Man?
I considered that Peter Parker. Peter Parker Gurnix.
Peter Parker Gurnix.
I kind of liked Bruce Wayne Gurnix.
Bruce Wayne Gurnix.
But if I had it my way, I'd have both.
Yeah, if you had twins. I can't believe you're going to name a kid after Spider-Man or Batman.
Alright, so they're making a movie about your life. Who's gonna play Papa?
Well, he's a rebel.
Any person in history, so you don't have to be current, I guess.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of somebody that was like him, temperament and all that stuff. I would say somebody like Steve McQueen. He was a rebel. He did what he wanted to do,
Alright.
and that's Papa.
And who's gonna play you?
Knew he was going to ask that. Okay, who's a mouse? I don't know who would play me. It would have to be somebody that was like a mediator. That could get along with both sides.
So
And I can't think of.
throw a name out there. Let's see.
Okay. Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. Okay. So Julia Roberts and Steve McQueen. Oh yeah. What kind of movie would you want it to be? You want to go drama, sitcom, action?
I think I'd like it to be like a comedy or a sitcom and action
All right.
mixed together.
Mixed together. To be like a buddy cop movie.
Oh, well, I think Papa would probably be a mercenary.
Probably.